Hey mamas, I'm Brooke Miller, registered dietitian, certified lactation counselor, and a mama who has helped hundreds of moms feel like themselves again after baby, boost their energy, mood, metabolism, and even milk supply. Inside of the Postpartum Shift podcast, you'll learn how to take care of your health so that you can show up best for the ones you care about most. Each week, we'll tackle topics like nutrition, exercise, breastfeeding, mental health, and so much more. Plus, you'll get access to guest experts who will share ways to make your pregnancy and postpartum experience easier. Whether you're approaching the postpartum period or you're right in the thick of it, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's topic. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about that fun 6-week postpartum checkup, what to expect, and just kind of how to navigate what the first few weeks feels like postpartum and how to make the most of it. So I am 7 weeks postpartum. I just had my 6-week postpartum checkup very recently, and there's a few things that usually our doctors talk to us about at this time. So a lot of what they say initially, I don't know if you guys felt this way. I feel like every time I went to my 6-week postpartum checkup, the immediate thing was all I can picture is the scene from Mean Girls where the teacher is like, you will get pregnant and you will die. I feel like all they care about at that 6-week postpartum checkup is like, what is your form of birth control? What are you going to do? You know, you can get pregnant. Like, it's just so intense. And this time around, I was like, yep, my husband's getting snipped soon. You don't need to, try to get me on hormonal birth control. And they're just like, okay, but you know all the things about vasectomies and all the testing and all the things. And I'm like, yes, I know. So anyway, I feel like the postpartum checkup is literally a lot of talk about birth control. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe you guys feel that way too. But a lot of what they don't talk to us about is how to support ourselves mentally and physically postpartum, and, talk about really the healing process beyond that. Nutrition, like breastfeeding, like a lot of this stuff is not covered by a lot of doctors. And a lot of times they just don't have the capacity to cover all of that in a quick visit. And so something else that a lot of moms struggle with at this visit is getting weighed. So first things first, if you feel like stepping on the scale will trigger you, if you feel like if you step on and you're going to be either really happy with the number and possibly reward yourself, or you're going to step on the scale and see the number and be really disappointed and maybe punish your body. Maybe you're like, now I need to work out. Now I need to only eat salads. If you feel that way at all, I would highly encourage you to either step on backwards, step on and shut your eyes, or ask, hey, is it necessary that I get weighed today? Now, if you're like me, and you're like, I don't really care what number is on the scale, it's not going to trigger me, I'm not going to feel anything but neutral around it, then you can absolutely step on the scale. Like, I look at it as, this is data, this is a number. It is not dictating my worth. It is not dictating how deserving I am to eat or nourish my body. It's just a number. And so I stepped on the scale at my 6-week postpartum checkup, and I am down about 20 pounds since birth. I am still, like, I would say 10 to 15 pounds away from my pre-pregnancy weight. And I'm totally fine with that. I do not have a timeline set in stone where I'm like, I'm a failure if I don't hit my pre-baby weight by this date. I don't have that. I'm not putting pressure on myself to get to the weight by a certain time frame. And truthfully, I think when we do set hard time frames on losing the baby weight, getting down to our pre-pregnancy weight, whatever that may be, I think that's just some sort of way that we are setting ourselves up for failure. So I am not saying you should not have goals. You can have goals if you want. You don't have to have goals. So if your focus right when you give birth is not on your weight at all, I think that's incredible. If you gave birth and you're like, oh man, I really want to eventually get down to my pre-baby weight, I think that's fine too. I don't think that there's shame in any way that you feel. So for me, always the first 2 months postpartum, my focus is always on two things. One, breastfeeding, making sure that breastfeeding goes off to a good start, that my baby has a good latch, that I'm feeding frequently enough, that her weight gain is good. And with all my kids, that was like my number one thing that I cared about for my postpartum experience. That does not mean that needs to be everybody's goal. It's just my goal is to always breastfeed my kids 2 years. And so for me, I know that if I want to do that, I know how crucial the first 2 months are. I mean, that is when your milk supply is getting established. This is the most important time. So for me, my focus has been focusing on making sure that she is getting enough milk. And then my second focus has been on fueling my body and replenishing. So when we give birth, our body is drastically depleted of a lot of vitamins and minerals. If we give birth and are also breastfeeding, our body is even more depleted. And so if we don't actually replenish these lost nutrients, it can take potentially up to, some doctors have found, 7 to 10 years for you to replenish. And again, it doesn't have to take 7 to 10 years. If you feel depleted, then the key is you need to replenish. And so something that a lot of times moms are not fixated on is fueling their body. So if you are in the space where you're like, I want to lose the baby weight as fast as possible, I understand that. I feel that. There's no shame in that, in wanting that. But also, if you go about it by I'm just going to eat what I did before baby, or I'm just going to eat less and move more, that is really, in this stage of life, especially in the first 2 to 3 months postpartum, having that be your focus on just eating less, that is going to set up not only your milk supply up for failure, but this is also going to set up just your body for failure in general, and your hormones and your metabolism. So our hormones and our metabolism are drastically shifting, especially in the first few weeks postpartum. And so what we want to do is focus on, how can I support these hormones and metabolism that have started to shift and change. And so again, I really do recommend the first few months postpartum for all moms. It's, if you are breastfeeding, if you want to breastfeed, really focusing your attention on that. And then for all moms, regardless if you breastfeed or not, whether you had a C-section or vaginal delivery, the other thing I would recommend focusing all of your time and attention on is, how can I make sure that I'm fueling my body, replenishing these lost nutrients, taking your vitamins, taking good quality supplements, and all of these things can make it so that when your body is starting to lose weight, it's not doing it in a way that is disrupting your hormones and metabolism, and it's not doing it in a way that is depleting your body. So a lot of times when we go to like an eat less or move more mentality, a lot of times we're losing water weight and muscle mass. And this is actually not helpful for our metabolism long-term and our hormones long-term. And so when we are trying to, lose the baby weight or get to our healthiest weight, whatever that may be, really we want to do it in a way that's sustainable, where it's going to stay off. We don't want to lose weight and then all of a sudden gain it all back, and then lose weight and gain it all back and be on this vicious cycle. We don't want to do it in a way that's really unsustainable. We also don't want to do it in a way where we're losing weight, but what we're losing is just water weight and muscle mass. That is not what is going to be helpful for our bodies. When we start to do that, our body tends to hold on to fat and for storage, and it also slows down our metabolism. So then that means that you're burning less calories, less energy at rest. And so what we want is actually to have more muscle on our body, more lean muscle mass and lean tissue on our body. That's actually going to help speed up our metabolism. If you've been wanting to reach your healthiest weight and feel like yourself again postpartum without having to sacrifice your favorite foods or your milk supply, I've got a free workshop just for you. Inside of this free workshop, you'll discover how to boost energy, mood, metabolism, and even protect your milk supply. You'll learn common mistakes that moms make that actually cause exhaustion, mood swings, low milk supply, and weight loss resistance to become worse, things that moms don't even realize. And you'll learn the proven 3-step method to heal your hormones and metabolism after baby, so you can go from surviving to thriving postpartum. Plus, as a free gift, you'll get my postpartum snack guide when you come hang out with us. All you have to do is click the link in the show notes to save your seat today. Spots are limited. See you there. So anyway, this is how I look at postpartum weight loss. Is the first few months is all about replenishing, nourishing, food is fuel, fueling our bodies. And then again, if you are breastfeeding, getting that off to a really good start. And then once you hit this point where I'm kind of at right now, around 7-8 weeks postpartum, it's like my milk supply is good and established. I am fueling my body well. I'm in this habit. Now I'm starting to incorporate other things. So I'm starting to start back up with strength training. I am trying to go for walks most days. And so I'm starting to do those things for a variety of reasons. One, I really enjoy moving my body. Exercise is not punishment to me. I really enjoy it for my mental health and my physical health. Obviously, there is so much, there's so many benefits to walking and strength training, especially. This helps with all of our lab values, our cholesterol, our blood pressure. It helps with our metabolism. It helps with our stress hormones. It helps with our blood sugar. So there are so many physical benefits, but it also helps our mental health. It can help reduce postpartum depression and anxiety to do these types of things. For some moms, yoga is something that they enjoy. I really do enjoy that as well. So just finding any type of movement that makes you feel good mentally and physically, that is going to help support your hormones and metabolism so that you can get to your healthiest weight. So something else that we really want to focus on during this time is giving ourselves grace and trusting the process. So with each of my postpartum experiences, I've experienced different things. So with my first son, I didn't gain as much weight during his pregnancy because he was born early. He was in the 0 percentile. My placenta wasn't functioning. We had a lot of medical conditions. So I didn't gain as much weight as I did with my second and my third pregnancy. And when I had him, I was immediately just in a constant state of stress. You know, he was in the NICU. He had open heart surgery. We were in the PICU. I was an oversupplier. So I was fully exclusively pumping, and I was making a lot of milk. So my body was just like depleted. But from the outside, everyone was like, oh my gosh, you lost the baby weight so quick. And I did lose the baby weight the first time around really fast. And it wasn't necessarily in the healthiest way because I was really depleted, exhausted. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. And truthfully, some of the weight loss happened because I was really chronically stressed out and because I was just producing so much milk. The one thing I was doing well at the time, though, is I was eating a lot. I was fueling my body. I was taking my supplements. So from a nutrition standpoint, I was doing all the right things. But just from the other aspect of taking care of myself, you know, doing a lot of the things that really supported my mental and physical health, I wasn't necessarily getting back to that. So when I weaned him, though, interestingly enough, I actually gained a few pounds during that weaning process. And again, it was a lot to do with the hormone shift that was happening and just how a lot of my stress hormones were impacted during that time as well. Now, my second time, I obviously, with my second and third pregnancies, I gained more weight during those pregnancies than I did the first time around. And my second postpartum experience, I did, lose the baby weight. I can't remember exactly. Truthfully, I actually don't own a scale, so I can't tell you like the exact time it took or when it happened. I have genuinely no idea. But I know that it was longer than the first time around. And I wasn't stressed about it. I wasn't anxious about it. I remember specifically at 1 month, maybe it was 2 weeks postpartum with my second, and none of my jean shorts fit me. And I wanted to wear jean shorts because it was June when I had him. And so I went to the store, I bought a pair of shorts. I knew that they probably weren't going to fit me long term, but they did fit me then. And so they are a size or two bigger than I normally wear. But when I had my second or my third baby, just recently, I actually wore those shorts again postpartum, and it was so nice to have a pair of shorts and clothes that fit my body where it's at now. And I also know that there will be a time that they likely won't fit anymore, and that's okay too. And depending on how long it takes, it doesn't really matter. And I think where a lot of moms really struggle is we have a belief tied to what it means to get down to our body, pre-baby body. A lot of us, maybe we have a subconscious belief that if we lose the baby weight, that we're a good mom, or if we lose the baby weight, that we're, doing all the right things, or we're not lazy, or whatever that belief may be, or that we're more worthy. So really getting down to it and asking yourself, like, if you are struggling and you haven't lost the baby weight yet, and how do you feel about it? Like, that's more important than actually, are you down to your pre-pregnancy weight or not? In my mind, how you're talking to yourself and how you're perceiving it is the most important thing. So right now, am I at my pre-pregnancy weight? No. How do I feel about it? Very, very neutral. I fully trust that my body will get to whatever its healthiest weight is, as long as I continue taking care of it, as long as I continue nourishing it, as long as I continue moving it in a way that feels good, as long as I continue taking care of my mental health and my physical health. I fully trust that wherever my body needs to end up, wherever its healthiest weight is, that it will get there. And if you feel that way too, then that is the best place in the world to be. I promise you. It is so empowering to feel that way about your body and to be able to look at the body in the mirror and see changes and see, yeah, maybe it's not where you want to be right now, but still accept that. And acceptance does not mean complacency. I think that's where a lot of people are at. A lot of moms are like, well, if I accept where I'm at now, if I buy, a pair of shorts that's a size bigger than my normal size, then I'm giving in, then I'm just going to become complacent, that I'm not going to take care of myself, that I'm going to get lazy. That is not at all what happens. When I started doing those types of things, like, okay, I'm deserving of buying a pair of shorts that's a little bigger right now. And if they don't fit me in the future, then I'll deal with it in the future. Or maybe I'll hold on to them for when I get my period and I'm super bloated, or when I eat something where I want to have a really big meal and it's Thanksgiving and I want to, wear some stretchy pants. So how you talk to yourself and how you perceive the weight loss is actually more important than the weight loss itself. So a lot of times when we are putting a specific timeline on it, that is where a lot of us struggle. It's like, if I don't get to this weight by this timeline, then I'm bad, then I'm a failure, then I'm not worthy, then I'm not deserving, then I'm doing a bad job. And that is just, again, when we are talking to ourselves like that, not only is it detrimental to our kids because they are going to pick up on that, whether we're saying it internally or externally, but also it's actually going to push us further away from getting to our goals. So we're actually more likely to get to our healthiest weight, whatever that may be, when we are actually treating our body with kindness and respect and treating it in a way that we would want other people to treat our bodies. So I don't know about you, but I don't want my parent, my spouse, my friend to say, oh my gosh, Brooke, you haven't lost the baby weight yet. You're such a failure. You're disgusting. How would I respond to that? I would probably, I'm not going to lie, if somebody came up to me and said that, I would be more tempted to go binge eat by myself and cry than if somebody said, hey, Brooke, how are you doing? Like, how's baby? Right. And just not even, feel neutral about my body and its changes. So that's something to really consider is, are you putting a timeline on it? And how are you talking to yourself? If you're not currently at your healthiest weight right now, how are you talking to yourself throughout this process and journey? Because when we bully ourselves into change, it does not last long term. It might motivate you short term. If like looking at old pictures or holding up this old pair of jeans that doesn't fit you right now, you may say, you know what, that does motivate me. I see that old picture and I'm like, I'm going to get back to that. That may motivate you short term, but that is not a long-term game plan for motivation, for taking care of yourself and for reaching whatever your postpartum goals are, whether it is weight loss, whether it's weight gain, whether it's muscle gain, whether it's toning your body, whether it's changing your body composition. And it's fine. If you don't have any goals besides keeping your little baby alive, I am cheering for you. That's awesome. If you do have goals that are related to your weight or aesthetics, that's okay too. There is no shame at all. But what I do want you to take away from this episode is how you talk to yourself on this journey and how the beliefs that are tied to whatever this weight is, that is much more important than if or when you hit that weight. And so again, if you want to reach whatever your healthiest weight is, it takes consistency and it takes sustainability. So it may not happen overnight. Like, you're probably not going to give birth and a week later be down to your pre-pregnancy weight. That's really unrealistic. I also can't tell you that it's going to 100% happen by 2 months postpartum or 3 months postpartum. Every experience is unique and different. We all start at different weights. We all gain, even with all my pregnancies, I gained different amounts of weight with each pregnancy, and the timeline for losing the baby weight with each pregnancy and postpartum experience is likely going to be different. And I'm totally fine with that. And again, we want to be at this place where we genuinely trust that our body will get there as long as we are nourishing it, fueling it, treating it with kindness, moving it in a way that feels good, and making decisions around our health that is supportive and also sustainable long term. So again, I am cheering for you in whatever camp you are at. I just really, really hope that you take away and have some awareness with your thoughts and beliefs about where you're at with your body. If that's all you take away from this episode is, I'm going to pay attention to how I am talking to myself and how I'm treating myself and things that I'm doing and saying about my body, whether you're already at your healthiest weight or not, that is the biggest thing. That if you can walk away with that awareness and just being more aware and starting to shift some of those thoughts and beliefs, it will be just a dramatic difference for you on this journey. So I'm cheering for you on your postpartum health journey, and I will see you in the next episode. Exercise is crucial for our overall mental and physical health, especially during pregnancy and postpartum. Something that has helped me stay really consistent with strength training and yoga at home during nap time is the Expecting and Empowered workout app. I love that I can choose how many weeks pregnant or postpartum I am, and the app tells me exactly what to do. Plus, there's cardio, yoga, and strength training options for new moms and moms to be. You can go ahead and click the link in the show notes to get 7 days free and also save 15% off the annual option when you use promo code Nutrition for Mamas. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to the Postpartum Shift podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could share this episode with a mom friend and leave a written review. This helps the podcast reach and help even more moms. Come say hi over on Instagram at Nutrition for Mamas.